Okay. Oh no, that's the wrong screen to share. Fix the Discord.
Yeah.
I think I got it. There we go. Sound is probably fine on Discord. You guys will have no issues with sound on Discord, but we are live streaming to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So those channels were not receiving any sound, but now they are. Should be. I thought I'd checked that earlier, but I failed. But anyway, if you all have any questions, you are more than welcome to put them in the chat. There are no stupid questions at all. I think a lot of times people are afraid to ask questions, but please don't be afraid. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean you're stupid. You don't know something, and that's okay. We're all here to help you, and if we can answer your questions, we absolutely will.
Call Me Happy has a question. Do you have any recommendations for job opportunities or contract work? I've been actively applying for about 6 months and I've only received 4 interviews so far. I mean, my thing is like 6 months in this market is kind of standard, it feels like. The fact that you had 4 interviews, that's awesome, just because like I've so many people are just throwing out resumes and applications and not getting interviews. I don't really have any recommendations other than keep doing what you're doing and then just keep working on your skills and updating your resume. Like you are getting interviews, so I would look at those jobs and see like maybe what happened that got you that interview, or reach out to those interviewers and say, "Hey, do you have any feedback for me?"
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely solid advice. 6 weeks or 6 months and you've gotten 4 interviews is actually very, very impressive, to be quite honest with you. Everybody's shaking their head. We don't normally have people come in here who tell us that, honestly. We have people come in here every single week who say they've been interviewing for the last year. They've sent out literally hundreds, I'm not even joking you, like hundreds of job applications, and maybe not even received like 1 or 2 interviews. So that's really a good sign for you. So I would look at that as a positive. And then I guess for recommendations, it's just, you're going to hear us say this a lot. And for the people who join us week after week and hear us say this, I'm sure you already have my answer queued up in your head, but it's networking. It's actually physically networking with people. So not like, networking with a switch and a router. It's people networking. That's going to be your biggest advantage and be most helpful for you. So there's things like meetup.com. I'll put the link in the chat. So it's just HEPS, meetup.com. Check your local area for different events that might be coming up. Check for local B-sides, DEF CON groups, things like that. Those are all going to be really great opportunities. You being part of this right here, this is being part of the community. So, find more events like this and just put yourself out there. That's, I think, the first initial bit of advice that I could give you. But, keep moving forward. It sounds like you're potentially in a good spot, just seeing that you're already getting interviews. So good luck to you. And I saw you tag me in another one here.
The next one is by Morning Star, telling us that he or she is having a bit of a trouble documenting. Every time he or she tries, the mind goes blank. Well, I will say it depends on what works for you. I do know some people like to use AI meeting notes. Other people like to use speech to text. Others just like straight up recordings and then review them. And you have to try, or myself, I have my notebook right here. When I'm on a meeting, I have this notebook right in front of me with a pen, and I'm manually writing everything. try everything. You can try everything I just talk about, and then find what you like. And once you find what you like, keep practicing it, and you'll be able to document a lot of stuff.
On the note-taking series that Daniel Lowry did. That'll have a lot of helpful tips and tricks and advice in there for you. Note-taking and documentation is one of those things that get better over time. It's not something that's going to make a lot of sense to you at first at all, because you just don't understand everything, right? Like, I think that's the biggest challenge that a lot of people face when it comes to initially taking any types of notes or documentation is when you don't have a really good understanding of whatever that is, you probably tend to want to write every single thing down when that's not actually necessary. A lot of times your notes should represent more well, not oftentimes, right? It's going to be completely up to you because everybody's different, right? And I think that's where Daniel's series comes into play, where you're going to find multiple ways to take notes and give you good ideas. But the notes should really act as just an internal Wikipedia documentation for you that you can easily look at, and maybe it's just a one-liner thing that you wrote down, but that one line is just whatever that is, it clicks for you, where you remember maybe what an instructor was talking about in that specific instance or whatever, or it's a good idea indication for you to take that one line or whatever and research more about it or whatever. That's just kind of initially some quick thoughts that come to my head, but I think overall the takeaway is just keep doing it, keep trying the best that you can, and over time you're going to start to understand what it is that you actually need to be writing down and documenting. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that's helpful, because I don't think that that's always the best advice that people want to hear is hey, I'm sorry, but it's going to take time. Yeah. And if y'all have questions, please throw them in the chat. Always happy to help y'all out. There was another one I think that I missed from Go. Yeah.
Long-time developer working in IR team to help with automation. Any training recommendations besides tool-specific training? Specific IR stuff? Those Antisyphon has?
Patterson Cake, Gerard Johansson, I think, and gosh, I was just thinking of one.
Just because
the Velociraptor one, maybe? Would that be?
Well, but that's a tool-specific training.
That's true.
I will guess.
Question, what specifically are you looking for?
Training
what type of training? IR tools, dev. What are you looking for?
I will guess is general IR training, or process automation. I will guess. Think of every manual administrative process that they want to automate. Actual IR, I don't think it's going to be automated, but you can clarify. I see him typing.
Yeah. All right, solid. We'll get some clarification there and do it. And hello, Zen Monkey. It's good to see you, sir. Let's see. Cryptic, you reached out to an old mentor, retired, who asked IT at his old company about IT openings, etc., and you ended up being told to reach out to a company that should be doing cyber for that company soon. It's been 2 days. Not sure how long I should wait, and if I should message everyone at the company's LinkedIn, as I've emailed the company a message LinkedIn page saying, hey, this person put you onto that, and if you only notice one person who viewed your account but is not accepting your connections. So... okay, that was a long one. I'm sorry. I was trying to summarize the best I could here. It's only been 2 days. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't in a 2-day time frame. I would not reach out to anybody, and specifically, I would not reach out to multiple people. At a 2-day time frame, it would potentially be appropriate to send out an email. But like even 2 days, like honestly, in a business world is not very long. After like a week, that would be like probably the most appropriate, and then if you don't hear anything again after like 3 weeks or something, that's a great great time to reach out again, but definitely do not reach out a lot. That is, yeah, do not do that. If you want to add to that, Leon.
Yeah, it highly depends on the type of companies. It's a big conglomerate or a big business. Wait times can be pretty long. Not only a week, something like 2 or 3 weeks.
Do not reach out.
It's pretty normal. Yeah, you just wait it out. Also, don't try to reach out to everyone. If one person stops replying for like a whole month, you can try reach out to another one, but that's pretty much about it. If not, you have to forget about it, basically.
My thing is also like, how did if your coworker told you about it, did they not have a point of contact to reach out to? Like, because maybe there's someone who's actually involved in that would be the better person to reach out to. The other thing is, be very cognizant of how you reach out and what you say in a message if they're not connected to you. Because in this day, when we've got a bunch of AI reaching out, people don't always trust strangers messaging them.
Exactly. Okay.
Is anybody here watching on any of the other platforms? Just curious if audio is working okay. If you can let me know. I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to get a lot of feedback. And thank you.
Go Dispatch replied to our clarifying. It's basically want to grow cyber skills to better understand the best strategy to automate. I will say get familiar with how the IR processes are. You have multiple frameworks and standards from NIST, from CISA. I think NICE also has a framework for IR. I don't. It's not my thing. I don't really know. But yeah, get familiar with the processes. And once you're familiar with the processes, you can start to grow the cyber skills, and you'll identify what to automate.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Daniel, for letting me know. LinkedIn, from LinkedIn. That's working. Was the Cyanide Cherry? Any tips on edging out the competition in internship interviews? I mean, I kind of like with serious, like don't try to edge out the you don't know who your competition is. You don't know what they're looking for. So it's really hard to edge out competition in a case like that. Really, I think when it comes to, if you're getting an interview, the best advice that I could give you to kind of stand out, especially for more of like an internship position, would be you trying to emphasize and that you can like roll with all the punches. You like love, giving back and helping people, and you love taking on projects. You love working as part of a team. Those would be things that I would probably emphasize. But yeah.
This is more like a general tip for anyone interviewing, not just internships. At the end of the interview, ask make a change of mindset of the interviewer and ask what your day one will look like. And that's a social engineering tip because the interviewer will think, okay, if I hire this person, what will his day one will look like? And there's a shift because the interviewer will stop thinking about you, about someone that is not the company, but they will still think, will shift to think, okay, this person is already working with me. What will I give him or her? Whatever.
Siri had a good comment too. Focus on prepping yourself to be the best fit that you can for the role and the team without making yourself lie. Like I could just stop right there. That's just like, period. That's great advice right there. And then if they say if you miss the chance because someone else fit better, you're best served by asking for feedback at the end of your interview and leverage that for next time. 100%. I agree with that. And just a reminder, it's our weekly AMA, so everybody is more than welcome to participate. And that includes any of you out there who want to help answer questions as well. So if you don't like an answer to a question that, you know, one of us on the panel give, and you have a better answer for that, please share your knowledge with us. And of course, if you have questions, ask away. We're here for you. And I'm scrolling through the chat trying to find questions, make sure I didn't miss anything also. And hello, Inbox Zero Day. Good to see you as well. Cool. Looks like I'm about caught up, I believe. What's going on, Justin Gold? That's good advice. In mind, don't focus on being picked for the sake of being picked. Ideally, you want to be picked for being you. It's a struggle and a bit of a double-edged sword, but you can't fake being a good fit or not. Yeah, and you know, when you're in an interview, and we strongly encourage you to ask questions during an interview. But if you're in an interview and you spot like a red flag, you spot something that like is just off for you, you don't agree with, I know that you may be in a bind. You know, you may desperately looking to like jump into the field. But if there is something that you notice in an interview that really throws you off, it is okay to question that. And it is okay to go back, you know, after the interview and really have a long, you know, conversation with yourself or, you know, with your friends, your family, and whether you, and ask whether like, you know, that whatever that thing is worth you still, you know, going forward with that company. I say this, I'm being a little bit cryptic with it, is just to say, if there's something that you don't like about wherever, it's okay to not work there. Don't put yourself in a situation that is going to be ultimately bad for you, because that can also, you know, it could be almost worse than, you know, not having a job sometimes, as weird as that sounds. The last thing I would want for anybody is to jump into something that, you know, they had like a really bad gut feeling about, and then like that opportunity just like ruins them. And like, that would be terrible. It's okay to say no to places as well.
Mm-hmm.
Monkey Chief, you're in a blue team role working with CyberArk PAM solution. You have a task with integrating CyberArk with a SIM Elastic. You have time until this is expected to be completed. We don't have a sandbox environment where you can play with this. I was thinking of building out a personal lab with a demo version of CyberArk to get ahead. Start. Any ideas, references, or recommendations? Thanks in advance. And you're doing it with Elastic. I don't know that if Hayden talks about Elastic in his training. Wait, I don't know if he talks about CyberArk in his training. I know there's Elastic in there. I'm trying to find it, but this might be a good class for you to take if you haven't yet, Monkey Chief, because he goes through basically setting up. Essentially setting up like a SIM and going through a lot of like detections and things like that, that could potentially be helpful for you. But I think you're on the right track with trying to build out a lab and demo it yourself and get your hands on it. It'd be great if your organization would give you a sandbox though, so you didn't have to utilize, you know, your own time and resources for that. That's questionable. But yeah, it sounds like you're on the right track. Anybody else have any advice?
Yeah, if you have to use your personal devices, just to be just because of an emergency, basically, because this will be like an emergency. What kind of? Make sure to have it completely isolated. I have some few test things, but that's because my job is pen testing, and pen testers do have a lot of home labs usually, and different virtual machines and so on. most of that infrastructure doesn't even reach my home my home network. That's all behind an OpenSense VM that explicitly blocks the network from the traffic from that network to my home network, and only specific devices from my home network can reach that network.
Solid. Thank you, sir. Pat Kilo, any good ways to practice some pen testing in a home server environment? There are so many good ways to practice that. You have an EXEI host and Proxmox host that you can spin up VMs on, looking at expanding your skill set. Just look into Game of Active Directory. If you have all of the resources that it sounds like you have available to you, Game of Active Directory would be my first suggestion for you, quite honestly.
Sources are not a problem. I would say go look at Ludus Cloud, and you can deploy Game of Active Directory there, and a bunch more labs.
Sysdoom says they have said no to many positions because it wasn't a good fit for them over their long career. Yeah, totally okay to do. Cyanide Charity, what if the only feedback given is that the other interviewees have help desk or IT experience and you don't because you haven't been able to get a foot in the door yet? Yeah, I remember getting that feedback very early on. There's not really anything you could do if they're like really looking for verifiable experience in those regards. If you find that you are going through interviews and you keep getting that very similar feedback, it's a great idea probably at that point to maybe start home labbing more projects that are going to be associated with some of those things. So right off the bat, if somebody else had more help desk or IT experience than you, Active Directory is a great thing to learn for help desk. You know, just spinning up an Active Directory server, jumping into that and understanding how to add users, remove users, change passwords, things like that. Having a project that's solely based around doing that is going to be very helpful for you and something that you can document as well. Ticketing systems, spinning up your own ticketing system in a VM. That's another great thing that you could do to get like actual experience under your belt. That's something that, again, that you can document, you can share, out to the world that, hey, I set up a ticketing system and learned all these things and blah, blah, blah. You could go and like set up a project and write out like a complete blog about how you set up like a ticketing system in Active Directory and like you created yourself a ticket to create users and, like remove users. And you could talk about like whatever that process looks like, there's a lot of things that you could do to start getting more hands-on and getting that experience that you're lacking. The most important part of this is documenting what it is that you're learning. So either putting that out on your own personal blog, writing like a LinkedIn article, a Medium article, something like that, making sure that, there are ways that people can see, the things that you're doing. That's going to be my best advice for you that I got right now. And Brett, Leon, more than happy to.
It's also like, how are you wording it? Like if they're saying, do you have any experience? And you say, I don't have experience, but you say, I don't have the job experience, but what I've done is to make up for that missing experience there is I have built my own home lab, or I have done these online training platforms, documenting my journey. Like I've learned these tools doing this. Like it's supporting what Zach says, but it's how you interpret it and represent it at the interview. Like you don't have to say I don't have the experience. Like while my resume, like I've done this to build the experience in the meantime, or I've done this. Like you're highlighting that experience. You're not saying like I waited until I got a job to get that experience. You have to really emphasize that you're finding that experience and taking advantage of that gap in time between roles and jobs.
Yeah, another thing is that even though it's okay to say I don't know to a question, if they get you a technical question about a specific software they use on their company, you can, instead of saying I don't know, with the experience you got in your home lab, it's like, hey, I'm familiar with the processes and procedures to have that done in another types of softwares, and that goes the mile away from the I don't know. And you can say like, hey, I've done this on these other products, and I believe that skill is transferable because most of the ticketing software is mostly the same. You just have a few different names, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, have a clear difference on, oh, hey, I'm familiar with this, I know of this, or I've done this. Try to have those three before saying, I don't know. But you will be able to find out pretty quickly.
What you can do is use the job posting. Like if they say you need skills with this application, say, "Hey, I got an interview. Let me go ahead and like spend some time prior to the interview actually setting up a home lab with this software and teach yourself that software." And then you can at least speak more towards it than just doing some baseline research. Like you have to prep yourself for that interview and show that you're also doing what you can to make up for that knowledge that might not have been on your resume.
All solid advice, guys. Thank you. And let's see, cryptic, a longer one here. I've been job hunting since August of 2025, and the degree has not opened any doors or any advice. You've applied for range from internships, IT training, etc. Not sure what you can do. Is your parents are on your back about this after 6 months? You've been doing LinkedIn Learning, Learn Cloud. Just like general advice. So been doing this since August 2025. How many blogs have you written since that time? What's your LinkedIn looking like right now? How many people you connected with over there? How much have you engaged on that platform? How much have you engaged with the community outside of Black Hills Information Security? Have you gone to any meetups? Those are some initial questions. I think we talked before about, really putting yourself out there more. Like that's what it takes nowadays. 2025, 2026, the whole job market is so completely it's like different than it has been than all of the previous years. It is changing.
It's the AI curse, Zach.
It's what?
It's a side effect of AI right now for us. Like I said, because so many AI and bots are like people lose the confidence to trust that someone's real. So now you have to like even harder show that you're real by being out there and being a face in front of someone, not just a face on a paper.
Yeah.
So networking is now even more important, face-to-face networking, because they have to know you're real. Like so many, there's job application bots now where someone can just give their resume and then it'll just spam for them. That doesn't mean they're gonna get any luck because if it starts having that pattern, so it's even more important to be not a name on a paper, but it's someone they know face to face. That might actually set you apart because you might be, well, no, I know this person. I met this person at this event. Like he's the only one out of all of the resumes we just got that is actually, I know for a fact is real. So that might be that one person, that one time you get past that window. And it's coming up to be that season where a lot of the B-sides and the conferences are going to be starting in spring. So you can really start planning out your schedule. Like, how do you want to, like, where is it going to be? I think February is where most of the conferences start, and then you're going to see more in March and so on. So now's the time to really get after finding those local networking events, as FedEx said.
Thank you all. I'm scrolling through chat, making sure I didn't miss anything. So if y'all have questions, you're more than welcome to put your questions in the chat. Or if you want to help answer questions, you can help answer them as well. We definitely appreciate y'all being here. You're just here for the community, for y'all. So if you don't have questions, you just have to listen to us banter back and forth. And if you're okay with that, I'm okay with that too.
One thing I will say about conferences and everything is if you can handle it, try and get outside your local area. Maybe do a little commute to a conference. Because if you stay in your local area, you're only going to be encountering what's local. If you go to a larger conference or one that's in a relatively rural area, you're more likely to find companies that are more spread out across the country. So that's one thing that's great about Wild West Hacking Fest is because it's not local to those areas or it's in a town like when it's in Deadwood, everybody that's there is coming from somewhere else in the country predominantly. So you're going to have a great time networking with people that likely work for companies that are remote.
What's going on, FedEx? How you doing, sir?
Good, everybody. Hope you guys can hear me.
Yep, we hear you.
So, I'm just gonna add out to that comment right there because I literally this happened to me yesterday. I just got contacted by someone that knows me and say, "Hey, FedEx, you work in the industry. I have a friend of mine who's been looking for a job. He's IT. Can I send it to you?" And I'm like, "Sure," but let's be honest, guys. I don't know this guy. If one of you guys that I know that I actually interacted, that I actually is in my network, someone that's actually involved in the network, comes to me and say, "FedEx, I'm looking. I'm gonna vote for you first rather than actually send a completely stranger." And that is the power of local networking, of actually doing the job you do. You should be networking. You should be doing that because that's actually was. It's just in reality we know it time and time and time again that the people who actually get the job, and even my personal experience right now with my current job, is the network.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, typing. I can't do the typing and talking at the same time. If you're a person out there who can type and talk at the same time, please let us know in the chat because you might be one in like 8 billion.
Yeah.
Zen Monkey made a comment here earlier that really stood out. He's saying that degrees do not hold the value they used to. And he said they wish high school kids would stop getting that lie sold to them by boomers who haven't had to spend time in this market. I don't know that I necessarily agree or disagree with you. I feel like in this market right now, there's so much clutter in a way. And I'm not sure whether or not like degrees hold, like I can't say for certain. Like I feel like we talk about this a lot. Go ahead.
Like I have 2 degrees, well, 3, and when I look at them, I look at them for what they got me. Like they taught me, they showed that I can be held accountable to a task and complete the task. I can do well on the task. I gained a good network because we all kind of went through that degree together. So I stayed in touch with those people. They're represented like, oh, the paper is what matters. Like, no, what the journey during your attempt to get the paper is what matters. How your research habits you learn, those kind of things. That's what you need to take from when you do a degree program. Yes, it can count towards experience, but what you need to focus on is what are you really gaining? Like in those classes where you have to learn research habits and being able to document your thoughts clearly and professionally, that's going to benefit you, especially when you need to start doing report writing or some kind of incident response writing. You have to be able to cognitively say your thoughts, and that's what you can take from schools. So it's really, you have to be aware of what you're expecting to get out of the degree. If you're just expecting, I'm going to do 4 years, check the box, and then have a job, that's unrealistic. That's not where degrees are going to benefit you. It's what are you getting during that journey? What are you putting into, and what are you learning? So you have to change your thought process and expectations. And I think that's the problem. We're misrepresenting the expectations of what a degree is going to get us. Yes, the cost is not worth it because you can teach yourself. If you're only going for the knowledge, you're not going to get much because you can get that free most places now. But if you look at the other thing where you're getting a bunch of colleagues that probably are all remote, all doing something in school, and if you stay in touch with those, they probably get a job, you get a job, and then you have a network. That's building a network that you kind of suffered through together, and that's where you can That's what you should get from degrees. That's where you're going to benefit the most from a degree program, not the paper. The paper it's the same as getting a certain number. It's just expensive. So you have to change your mindset on what are you expecting to get out of that program.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's all really on the employer and how they value these things. You know, like that. That's honestly so much what it comes down to these days, and it's not probably the answer everybody wants to hear because it's not. It's not ever going to be a solid yes or no answer of like, is it beneficial or not? Because it's so dependent on whoever's doing the hiring. So many hiring managers, directors, organizations do place a lot of weight on degrees. Some do not care at all, right? Some might place more weight on certifications than degrees, and some might not care at all whether you have a certification. I'm telling you, it is so incredibly dependent on the employer. Example that I can give you guys firsthand is like a hospital. There's 2 hospitals in my area, like 15 minutes away from each other. I applied and interviewed at one of them, and I did not get the job because I did not have a degree. Applied at the other hospital, and I got that job. I did not have a degree. I did not have any certifications, but I had experience. And the hospital that hired me, they had plenty of interviews with people who had degrees, who had certifications, but they valued my experience more than anything else, and that's why they hired me. So for that employer, it came down to like that, just simply that. So just to say,
He came in with a good one.
Jerry Ozier, that huge nerd.
Yeah. He came in. Degree programs also give you a wider exposure of knowledge in a discipline than you may get by going your own route.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
I'll say it's the same thing. I would say it's definitely the same thing. I've been in positions where I did win and get the degree, and I got the degree, but I did not needed the degree to get to the job. I got to the job prior just by, knowledge and stuff. So it is one of those things that sometimes it depends on who's hiring manager. I had heard from hiring managers directly when I asked them, and some of them will say, "I rather have the person that shows the actual desire to be here, that wants to prove, that wants to learn, that wants to keep educated, than somebody that just came out of school and have all this knowledge, and yet it cannot answer a basic question because it lack of that thinking outside the box. They're too rigid on the books. So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it depends on who's hiring, and it could be a double-edged sword sometimes.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I have a question here from Staying Positive on the YouTubes. They said they've been with their current company for 4 years, and for the past 7 months, they've been moving into IT, earning their A+ and Network Plus. Congratulations. They're building labs with Active Directory and Microsoft 365. They also run Windows Server and Windows 11 and a VPN in their lab. They're prepping to talk to their general manager about joining the IT team. We wanted to ask what other tools or systems they should focus on. And they've been doing practice tickets and mock interviews. Like, I don't think I saw Active Directory in there. No, I did. You did put Active Directory. You're on the right track, dude. Everything that you just checked off your list there, like, you are on the right track for sure. I don't necessarily have anything that I could really add. If you're trying to, unless I guess, if you're trying to stay in your current environment, so stay employed with your current employer, I would, maybe reach out to that manager or other people within the IT team to see where they are lacking skills and or knowledge, to see if that's something that you could start looking into to move into at some point. But then also ask, like, hey, what are the other technologies and things that you guys are utilizing in this environment that I should maybe look into to learn more about? That would be my best advice for you. I beat you to it, Smithereens. I'm sorry. If y'all have anything you want to add to that, you are more than welcome to. Bucky here says they had an easy to read resume with 3 lines per role. A professional site created a crammed resume for them, which is hard to read, but it is quote unquote best practices according to them. You could send your resume to 100 different sites, 100 different quote unquote like resume builder creators, whatever, and each one of them is going to tell you what best practices are. I don't know that there's a best practice for a resume, to be quite honest with you. I think keeping it all on one page and just digestible, that's it, right? Sometimes it's got to be 2 pages, but just make it digestible.
The best practice is to not leak your personal information. I've seen some that have like their address, their home address, their personal phone number,
Social security number.
Yeah,
everybody's got it.
Yeah, that's public information. You just Google it. Honestly, sometimes the easiest thing that you can do is how long can you keep your child entertained? Like, look at it that way. It's the way I look at it is your attention span. Somebody that's like, if once it passed to the ATS and all the other stuff, it's got to a human. Can you actually, your resume that has those keywords or that front page right there that they're gonna read, it's gonna have those keywords enough to entertain that person and be like, ooh, let me read more about this person. Let me know more about it. Because if not, they're just gonna look at it and move on. They get thousands of papers every day, you know. People apply for jobs every single day, so it's that attention span right there, and that's basically how you wanna. It's kind of hard because some people say, well, you put your job description first, or you put your certifications up top, and then do the jobs or your college at the bottom. It kind of works different and whoever you're applying and who's going to be that person, but it is, you got to be able to catch that person attention enough for them to read and want to know more about you.
The challenge is most of the people that read the resumes initially are HR. And this is where the networking comes in, because if you talk to someone at that company, you know someone at that company, they can put an internal request to pull your resume and get past that HR point. But that's the challenge most people face. And the reality for HR is they're just looking at what the check boxes on their job their job posting. So that's what you want to hit at the top typically, because that's what they're looking for initially, to just cull the herd of thousands of applications.
And again, I go
back
to your local networking thing. The job that I'm currently in, I got contacted by the hiring manager late at night via email and say, hey, I got this job, you want it? As soon as I replied saying yes, he's like, okay, cool. HR will contact you tomorrow. And literally HR contact me. They opened the thing for me to do what we had to do in the business. You know, you had to apply officially, but they opened the rec, I apply, they close it. So if you already had that line of communication, if you already been doing your networking, you might get those calls. You might get that type of things. It's who you know.
Okay.
It's hard. Don't give up. It's hard. Just don't give up.
Yep. Yeah, don't give up.
Stay on. I think that's the only reason I got my job.
Because you didn't give up?
I tell myself, like, when I started looking for jobs and everything, I didn't worry about, am I going to get one? Is this going to succeed? I said, all I can do is do my best. And if someone's willing to invest in me, I'm going to take that opportunity and follow it. Like, you can't look at it as like, oh, I failed, or I didn't, like, I'm not doing well. Like, every part of your journey in looking for a job is something that's going to grow you. And it's how you take that experience and grow from it that's going to, like, and then funnel that into the next job, into the next job application. And that's what's going to show, one, I didn't quit. Two, I kept getting after it. I didn't just say, oh, this is just the world, like, this is all, I can't get a job now, I'm screwed. You have to especially in cyber now, like they're looking for people that are hungry. Like they're looking for people that they can invest in, but they know is also investing in themselves. So be that difference. Get out there, share the knowledge, and like show that you're also bringing the knowledge to the table. So they're not having to invest excessively in you.
Yeah, keep putting yourself out there so you don't even need a resume. That's the goal. That's
I
what
put
you
myself in front of Zach constantly.
you what?
I just kept putting myself in Zach's face.
Yeah, you did. It's a true story.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I
And
guess
FedEx
it's a nice face, and it was well shaped because
is
you
not
got
now.
in. Zach actually accepted.
I what? I accepted today.
He put his name on me and helped me. But the reality is, like, I don't think he would have done that if I hadn't proven myself to him.
And it goes back again. The guy called me yesterday, say, would you try to help my friend a job? I don't know this guy. Why would I do that? Give me a good reason why. The nice thing for me to say is say sure, but I don't know this guy. If the guy doesn't contact me and then the start doesn't working, then there's no reason for me to actually push that name. Because if someone contact me and say, hey FedEx, we got this going on, the first thing I'm gonna be is like, oh, I know a friend of mine who's actually looking for this, or I know someone in the network that is someone that is actually active, someone that's actually engaging. That's the difference, you know. You might be able to, you gotta make that relationship, and that's the only way. I actually think and believe that getting those unicorn jobs nowadays is kind of the only way. It's harder.
Yeah, I mean, there's yes and no, maybe. I don't know. It's such a weird time right now. I think a lot of people are finding AI is going to bite them in the butt a little bit. So it seems like we're going to be hiring back some like actual people here at some point. But I don't know. We'll see how things go.
And
we'll see what
great.
changes.
But but what people is going to get hired? The people that actually has been using this time to learn about AI, the people that has been using this time to continue their education and learning how to manage it. You know, it is not going to replace the human force. What is going to replace is the procedures that we currently do in our daily task. And so you have to become that person that knows how to manipulate the data, how to manipulate it to work what it's supposed to do. And that is what makes you separate from the others. You know,
Or
you
even
gotta
talk to it,
continue.
like you just said. Like the way you just said, it's not going to replace this, but you explain this is what it's going to do by being able to speak towards that and understand how it can be implemented. That's even more than you're coming from a higher baseline than most people. But I saw that saw Chad posted one that said, "But I'm an introvert." I'm like, yes, like that.
We all are.
That's an excuse. We're all introverts. We all, like, at the end of the day, need some alone time to recoup our energy. I'm an introvert, but like if I'm at a con, my battery is a little larger than most people. But at the end of the day, I still need to be alone and just kind of recentered. That's what all being an introvert means. It doesn't mean you can't talk to people. That's just socially awkward, and you can only improve that by getting out there and talking to people.
Yeah, and I would say dark humor, introvert, like we're weird and quirk in our own ways, everybody, in a one way or another one in this industry. Because the more you actually start meeting people, you're like, oh, you also ADHD, or you also had a twisted mind like I am, or that's the reason why you are a red teamer, because you think you are twisted in the way you think you're gonna break onto something, but that also helps you to get creative on how you're gonna break into something. So that's what makes us special. I actually do believe that it anybody can do this job, but you just gotta put your. Don't come thinking that you're just gonna
in the works.
get a class and get a certificate and start making money and then just move at it. No, it is a constant reinventing yourself. It's also learning new stuff. It's actually, yes, it's still being your introvert, but at the same time being able to communicate at some point how to people or to others. And one thing that I think everybody will agree in here is don't make cyber your whole life, because you're gonna burn out. So you also go outside and touch the grass, do something else.
I like that.
Thank you, y'all. Uppercase
Turf in the corner that I'll
here.
touch.
What's up?
I have turf in the corner that I'll touch.
Uppercase says they have a Security Plus and basic Python programming, hands-on home lab experience, and completed projects including a Purple Team simulation using Splunk and Elastic. They have a blog and 2 semesters away from completing an associate's degree in cybersecurity. They hold an active security clearance through the U.S. Air Force Reserve last year. In 2024, they applied for 200 plus roles and completed 4 interviews with feedback indicating a lack of professional experience. Now they want to apply and would like guidance on what they should do differently to improve their chance of a cybersecurity role. And then I asked like what types of roles that they were applying for, and I think that they said like entry level and technician, things like that, IT technician, SOC analyst, IT support, and more related like this. Mostly entry level jobs. You said you have certifications. I mean, you have everything that you need to be working in any type of entry level role. The degree shouldn't necessarily hold you back because you have like clearances, you have certification. Ultimately, the market sucks right now for sure. Blindly applying to jobs and sending your resume out is just going to be god awful, terrible time for you. And I cannot emphasize that enough to everybody. Blindly spraying and like your job applications out there, good luck. Just quite frankly, good luck. It's going to suck. I hate saying this over and over again because it's like a broken record. Networking, like, I'm sorry, things are so much different now. I mean, you can absolutely spend your time submitting all of those job applications, and if you have the time to do that, that's great. It might be better off, you might be better off spending your time trying to network further. So doing things like this tenfold, right? Getting yourself out there even more, going to local meetups, finding more online resources like these. Simply Cyber, Jerry Ozier was just in the chat earlier. He runs the Simply Cyber community. That's a great community to join as well. But getting yourself out there, seeing, like, having people see like what it is that you're capable of doing. So doing the blog thing, doing more of the blog thing is going to be helpful. But yeah, you've really got to get seen out there in the community and things like that nowadays. I know it's different. It sucks. I hate saying it. I honestly do. I don't. I say it all the time, but like I genuinely, in a way, I really hate giving this advice, but like that is the only advice that I could give. And for people who are introverts out there, like doing that is really difficult. Like doing the whole networking thing can be very, very difficult, and that could be a job in itself. But unfortunately, that's like what the industry requires of us these days. And that's what sucks and hurts to say.
Like I'll put something in. I gotta leave in a few minutes for a meeting. But I put a link in the chat. It's millcyber.org. It's for vets, reserve, all like active duty. It's a cyber organization, community, and networking. Like leverage your military experience to build your network. Like there's so many military that are pivoting into cyber that they're willing to invest in each other. So leverage that. Like that would be my biggest recommendation to you. I will say, do not broadcast your clearance the way like as much. Like those that want it, care about it, will ask about it. Like, but don't just put it out there. It does kind of put you in an awkward situation, and there are conflicting things about whether that should be something that should be close held. So don't put that out there. If you have questions about like some of the cyber organizations, I was military cyber, and I know a decent number of vets that are kind of branching into the field. And I'll gladly ask questions if you need advice. Like, hit me up on Discord. I gotta pop out. It was great being here. Always happy to be with you guys. Like, I'll see y'all next week.
Thanks, Sam. Take it easy. Sis
I
Doom,
gotta say,
you said your understanding is Black Hills only hires from their leaderboards. Not really. I mean, we try to hire from the community, not necessarily like the leaderboards, but a lot of the hires happen mostly from like internal like references and things like that. We very, very rarely put like a job posting out to like to the public.
Weird.
You know,
I've only seen like one in the last 4 years, I think.
just coming up today.
Again, one of the jobs that I ever had through my career, I did it because I started volunteering in there. And after volunteering for a while, they approached me and gave me a director title for their cybersecurity and a nonprofit. So I know it sucks to volunteer sometimes when you're not making money, but sometimes,
You gotta
if
do
you
what you
want to
gotta
see
do.
your house, so let's just make an analogy. If you want your grass to be trimmed, you gotta go cut it. If you want your house to be clean, you gotta go clean it. Sometimes you gotta do jobs that you don't want to do because I'm tired, or things that I just don't want to start over. But sometimes those are the little things that get noticed and actually put you on top of the board, if that's the case. One thing for sure, I will always say is make sure what your limits are. Everybody's financial situation is different. I knew, for instance, when I got laid over and now my wife was pregnant with my first child, I didn't have the time to wait for that perfect job. So I had no shame and no problem going and restarted and started a lower payment, even if it was flipping burgers. And then while I was working, find another job. There's always that phrase that say that the best time to find a job is when you have a job. Best way to network and find a job is when you have a job. So even if it's flipping burgers, even if it was something, as long as I'm not doing something illegal, I don't mind restart over my life, because I'm a father, I'm a husband, and my family is gonna be priority to provide for them. And everybody's finances are different.
Sure. Thank you, man. This will be the last one that I grab. But it's a little bit of a different question, but Manafro from the YouTube. Why don't companies automatically bump everyone's salaries, but they give a huge pay bump for new people? I just laughed at that question because it's kind of funny.
Funny you mentioned that.
Why would a company do that? Why would they willingly give you more money, like out of the kindness of their own heart? That just, oh man, that makes no sense, right?
It's not necessarily the kindness of their own heart. Let's look at this way. When you are already in the institution, they already have a set budget and a set parameters that they're gonna give a increased pay bump of X%. Let's call it 3%, 5%, whatever X it means. However, when they actually post the job, they have a lower and a higher salary payment. So you are in the position. Let's say you logged in at $10 an hour. You logged in at $10 an hour. From there, you're only going to make $1.25, $2 in increase a year. However, that position, the range was probably, let's say, $8 and the maximum $15. Well, if you hire and you are in the need of somebody, and that person that you come in and they got the skills, they can prove they can do the job, and they're good negotiators, they might get the $14 passing you. It's because it's in the range of what they already hired.
Yeah, exactly.
It sucks. It really sucks because
That
it happens all the time. They always tell you the best way to get you money is when you get it up front, when you negotiate. After that, you're gonna get locked down on whatever the company does in that X%. There are opportunities and times where your manager might be able to give you more, or if you can change positions and that other position has a higher gap, then that's where it is at. But that's true reality, and it sucks.
Yep, 100%. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, FedEx, for popping on the panel. Thank you, Leon, as always. We appreciate you, sir. Yeah, hey, man, it's different. It worked out for you. We do these AMAs every single week, same time, same place. You're more than welcome to come and join us and ask questions, answer questions, or just hang out, whatever works for y'all. But I'll see you all next Tuesday. Hope you all have a great week. Take care, everybody. This week we have 2 webcasts. We have Anticast tomorrow with Fawn Russo, which is going to be a lot of fun. And on Thursday, we have a webcast on Black Hills with Alyssa and Caitlin. And that'll be a lot of fun, too. And it looks like right now, Jerry's going to be starting up with, I forget that guy's name. I don't know why.
So just a little quick intro for this. And I don't remember his name either, but Mike Miller. But I can tell you one thing. You're looking about personal branding, you should be jumping on this. This is what helps you out for people to recognize you. And they're talking about this part. How can you make yourself stand above others? So if you are in the career market, if you got the time, go look at it. If not, watch it later. But it's yes, we got to play the game. Go to the LinkedIn, do your things.
Check it out, everybody. I'll be there. I'll see you guys there. Take care, everybody. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.